Dr. Sella here, and I'm going to slow this down and explain to you about the unbalanced formation in the triple option offense, the most common unbalanced formation, the one that's lasted for decades, that gets used over and over, so what's called the heavy formation. So I'm going to slow this down. Here's how it works. So, you've got a snapper. You've got a left guard, a right tackle. If you go heavy right, you bring the left tackle next to the right tackle with a 3.5 foot split, and he puts his hand down, his dominant hand down at the heels of the center, base is narrower than shoulder width apart. We got that? Good. You can call this guy the center, but he's really not the center, he's the snapper. Because the center of the offensive line is the middle ineligible person, which in this case is the right guard. Just want to make that technical for you defensive guys out there. Now, the location of the receivers, you've got a right receiver which goes to the call side. He puts his inside foot up, his outside foot back, his hands down, he's on the numbers. Now, this is where there's been some variances over the years. The left receiver lines up 3.5 feet away from the guard, dominant hand at the heels of the center, narrow base. If you have an eligible jersey number that maybe isn't a receiver, however you want to define them. If you got another player you want to bring in, a B-back or a tight end, you could put him there instead and make it a personnel package instead of just a formational change. So that player can go there. The key is to have an eligible jersey number here so the defense has to cover him, because here's who's eligible. He's eligible, he's eligible, he's eligible, he's eligible, he's eligible, and don't forget, Philly, he's eligible. You got to cover the quarterback. Now, the A-backs align 1 yard behind the second guy in the surface. Certain concepts, the A-back can be behind the third guy in the surface, especially if you run the down so he can get over the top, or on toss to the right, he can be out here so he can get out to the perimeter a little quicker. But as a base, he'll be behind the tackles, the tackle and the receiver, the second guy in the surface. The quarterback's under center, of course. The B-back is behind the quarterback. His depth is determined by how fast he can get into the ball when the quarterback points the ball. Okay, so what happens in the heavy formation is you've got 4.5 offensive players away from the heavy side. This is what's called the nub. And 6.5 players to the heavy side. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. And because the ball's here, you got 3.5, 4, 4.5. The other side, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5. Okay, now, Paul Johnson, and I know he's retired 5 years now. Paul Johnson, who's the godfather of the modern-day triple option offense, said this repeatedly. Always run to the numbers. I'm going to repeat that. Always run to the numbers. One more time. Always run to the numbers. You don't care if it's predictable. It doesn't matter, because the defense has to adjust to the numbers. If they don't, you keep running to the numbers. 100% of the time. Who cares if it's predictable? The defense didn't do anything about it. That's the advantage of getting into unbalanced or the heavy formation. The defense has to have 6.5 people here and 4.5 people here. And if they don't, you keep running to that side. Very, very rarely does the defense ever put 7 on this side. Doesn't happen at the college level. Definitely doesn't happen at the high school level. So you're going to run to the heavy side maybe every single time. Now, if they're balanced, yes, you can run to the nub side. The best concept to run to the nub side is the toss, because if you get the outside guy hooked, the corner hooked, and you get the ball outside of that, they run out of people. It's the safest play you can run to the nub side. So if you come up to the line and they for some reason have 7 people there, you toss it to the nub. You toss it to him and run rocket toss to the nub or B-back toss to the nub. Because if this guy hooks the corner or this guy hooks the corner, they're out the gate. You're out the gate. So the heavy formation is utilized to make the defense adjust. Because a lot of times they don't adjust. And you have a numbers advantage. But I'm going to stress this again. You always run to the numbers. It doesn't matter if you run to the same side 100% of the time. Who the heck cares? Run to the numbers. That was Paul Johnson's biggest thing. You want to run to the numbers. If they are short and you're not, run there every single time. That's the benefit of going unbalanced. That's the benefit of the heavy formation. Now, the thing about the heavy formation is it's not always great running certain concepts like triple option. Generally, the midlane triple, it's generally something you can do, but the thing is then you've got to basically, these two guys do the same job. And that's the thing you got to understand. It's helpful if they give you a zero technique because you'll frontside ace the zero technique and you'll be on your way. Hard to throw, and I get questions, too many questions about throwing out of the heavy formation. Look, the only time you should ever throw out of the heavy formation is if they don't cover this guy. They don't really throw out of the heavy formation. Do you like? People ask me questions all the time of stuff you can do out of it, but Air Force doesn't really throw out of it. And when Army and Navy were sane, before they went rogue, they never threw out of it. Paul never threw out of it unless the defense failed to cover that guy. So really, it's something with which you don't have to concern yourself. Great way to run zone dive. Great way to run toss. Great way to run the down. Great way to run kick. Generally trap is run to a 2-man surface. You can do it, but I have no data that shows them running out of it, so I can't recommend it to you. But anyway, the heavy formation, the unbalanced formation, is something that really helps you gain a numbers advantage in the offense. Utilize it because it pays big dividends. Coaches, you want to win more games in 2024, pick up the phone and give me a call. My number's on the thumbnail of this video, and so is my website. The Triple Option Football Academy and Triple Option Football Academy camps are going to show you how to run the modern day triple option offense the right way the first time. Go to tripleoptionfootball.com/testimonials where you can see all the success stories that have come out of the camps in the academy. The academy's $997. You get it for 2 years. The camps start at $1997, and you get the academy with the camp. So, if you're ready to win, I've helped people win for going on 14 years now. I can help you. So you know what to do. I'll see you in the next video. We'll talk soon.